Ever wondered why Norway often feels like a freezer box? You're not alone. Norway's temperatures can drop lower than a polar bear's toenails. And there's a fascinating interplay of factors behind this. From the country's geographical position to the influence of ocean currents, atmospheric circulation, and even climate change, there's a lot to unravel. So buckle up as we embark on this frosty journey. First, we have to understand Norway's unique geographical location. Positioned in northern Europe and stretching all the way into the Arctic Circle, Norway finds itself in the path of polar air masses. These air masses, originating from the frosty polar regions, bring with them the kind of cold that can make your breath freeze in the air. Now, imagine a country that's not just northern, but also long, really long. Norway extends over 1,400 miles from north to south. That's roughly the distance from Miami to Boston. This extensive reach into the Arctic Circle exposes it to distinct climatic zones, each with its own weather patterns and temperatures. So, as the polar air masses journey southwards, they sweep across Norway, transforming the country into a winter wonderland. This location, as you might guess, makes Norway a prime candidate for some serious chill. But there's more to it than just location. Let's talk about the Gulf Stream. This powerful ocean current starts near the Gulf of Mexico and flows across the Atlantic, carrying warm water and air towards Europe. Norway, sitting on the receiving end of this stream, usually enjoys a relatively mild climate despite its high latitude. Imagine a natural undersea conveyor belt, pumping heat from the tropics all the way up to the Arctic. Now here comes the twist. The Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, or AMOC for short. Picture it as a giant, slow-moving water wheel in the Atlantic Ocean. It's a crucial part of the global climate system, controlling the distribution of heat and influencing weather patterns around the world. When the AMOC is strong, it pulls the Gulf Stream north, keeping Norway warmer. But what happens when this system gets disrupted? Recent studies suggest that the AMOC is slowing down, likely due to melting ice from the Arctic. This slowdown means less warm water is being pulled north, which can lead to colder conditions in places like Norway. So you see, the Gulf Stream and the AMOC are like Norway's undersea central heating system. When everything is running smoothly, it's comfortably mild. But when the AMOC gets disturbed, well, that's when things can get really icy. Next on our list is the Arctic Oscillation. This is a climatic phenomenon that involves pressure patterns in the northern hemisphere. Picture it like a seesaw in the atmosphere, swinging between two phases, positive and negative. In its positive phase, the Arctic Oscillation sees low pressure over the polar regions and high pressure over the middle latitudes. This scenario creates a tight ring of strong winds, a sort of atmospheric fence that keeps the frigid Arctic air locked up in the polar region. However, when the Arctic Oscillation flips to its negative phase, the pressure patterns reverse. The winds weaken and allow the icy Arctic air to spill southwards, impacting the atmospheric circulation over areas like Norway. So, imagine opening a freezer door and letting the cold air rush out and mix with the room's warmer air. That's essentially what happens during a negative Arctic Oscillation. The Arctic's deep freeze seeps into lower latitudes, and places like Norway feel the chill. This oscillation doesn't operate on a set schedule, and its phases can last for weeks or even several months. So when you're bundling up against a particularly harsh Norwegian winter, the Arctic Oscillation might just be in one of its negative phases, allowing that Arctic air to make its way south. So when the Arctic Oscillation goes negative, Norway starts to shiver. Now let's address the big question: what's climate change got to do with all this? You see, while immediate weather conditions like Norway's deep freeze are subject to natural variability, the broader long-term trend of climate change plays a significant role in influencing these patterns. Imagine climate as the stage on which weather, our main actor, performs. Changes to the stage, like those brought about by climate change, can influence the performance in unexpected ways. Climate change, driven by increasing greenhouse gas emissions, is causing global temperatures to rise. But that doesn't mean it's getting warmer everywhere all the time. It's more accurate to say that climate change is increasing the frequency of extreme weather events, both hot and cold. In the case of Norway, scientists are investigating whether melting Arctic ice is disrupting the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. Remember, That's the ocean current we talked about earlier. This disruption could lead to colder conditions in northern Europe. Additionally, changes in the Arctic Oscillation, which we've also discussed, might be influenced by the warming Arctic. When the Arctic Oscillation is in its negative phase, this allows cold Arctic air to travel southward, potentially contributing to frigid conditions like those in Norway. So climate change could indeed be adding to Norway's chill, but it's not the only factor. Climate is a complex system influenced by an array of elements, and it takes careful, comprehensive study to unravel its mysteries. And we can't forget about Norway's own unique features. The country's landscape is a captivating spectacle of rugged terrain, towering mountains, and deep fjords. But these aren't just beautiful to look at. They play a crucial role in the country's climate as well. Picture this: a vast valley nestled between towering mountains. Now imagine a cold air mass descending into that valley. With the mountains acting as barriers, this cold air becomes trapped, unable to escape. This phenomenon, known as a temperature inversion, can cause the valley's temperature to plummet while surrounding areas remain relatively warmer. The fjords, those stunning waterways that snake their way through the country, add another fascinating layer to the climate conundrum. In the winter, these fjords can act as conduits for cold air, drawing it in from the surrounding mountains and channeling it along their lengths. This can lead to some areas experiencing colder temperatures than others. So when we talk about Norway's deep freeze, it's important to remember that it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. Depending on where you are, whether you're in a valley, near a fjord, or up on a mountain, you could be experiencing different temperatures. So even within Norway, the deep freeze can vary depending on where you are. So in a nutshell, why is Norway freezing? Let's take a quick trip back through our frosty journey. We started with Norway's geographical position right up there in northern Europe, extending into the Arctic Circle. This unique location exposes the country to polar air masses, leading to those bone-chilling temperatures. Then, we navigated the ocean currents and the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, or AMOC. A disruption in this system can throw off the Gulf Stream, leading to colder conditions. We also circled around the Arctic Oscillation, which can allow cold Arctic air to travel southward during its negative phases. This impacts atmospheric circulation and contributes to freezing temperatures. Climate change entered the scene, reminding us that while immediate weather conditions have natural variability, broader climate trends can influence weather patterns, leading to unusual cold spells. Lastly, we touched on local factors like Norway's rugged terrain, where valleys can trap cold air masses, causing variations in temperatures across the country. It's a frosty puzzle, but now we've got the pieces. Now, we'd love to hear from you. The world of climate science is vast and varied, and your experiences and observations are a critical part of this journey. Have you ever experienced a deep freeze like Norway's? Or perhaps you have some fascinating weather phenomena in your region that you'd like to share. Moreover, climate change is a global concern that affects us all. It's a topic that encompasses so many areas, from the melting ice caps of the poles to the rising temperatures in the tropics. Are there any specific aspects of this broad subject that you're curious about? Perhaps you'd like us to delve into how climate change impacts wildlife, or its effects on agriculture and food security. We're here to explore these topics together, so feel free to drop your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more intriguing content. Stay warm and see you in our next video.